course.
Okay, since everybody's here, why don't we get started? If I can find this paper. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Executive Committee meeting. My name is Carrie Miyashiro, Vice Chair of the Workforce Development Council. Our chair, Ken Louie, is currently out of town attending his daughter's graduation on the mainland. So I have the honor of, as vice chair, to preside over this meeting. We have a full agenda, so I would like to call the meeting to get order at 1:30. This is a public meeting under the open meeting law. Committee members and public guests are viewing in Zoom and have the staff of the Department of Labor and Consumer Industrial Relations room 317 in case members and guests wish to meet on the on-site location. To start the meeting and to document the minutes, I will be doing a roll call of our executive committee members, after which I would like guests to introduce themselves with names and organizations. First, we have Ken Louie, who is excused, Carrie Miyashiro here. Donovan De La Cruz, we have his representative, Charles. Keith DeMello is excused. Donna Dion, she's there. Tui Scanlon is excused. Carla Kurokawa, we saw Carla, she's there.
There.
Sean Knox, we see Sean there.
Hello.
Tran Boone. So we see Tran.
Yeah, we got Trang.
I'm
Okay.
present.
Okay. Cheryl Cross is excused. Lorna Wu, we saw Lorna. Derek Konihira is excused. As stated in our bylaws, executive committee is composed of WDC chair, the WC vice chair, workforce development assistant vice chair, or chair of, or vice chair of each of the 6 committees, totaling 9 members. The quorum requires 6. Let me state that for the record, we have 6 members. I will now ask the members on Zoom or the guests to introduce themselves. Let's see who we have here. Helen.
Helen Sante, Principal, McKinley Community School for Adults.
And we have Charles.
Hi, Charles Miller, Legislative Aide in Senator De La Cruz's office.
And I see a Kimmy Gabbard. Says
Gabbard.
Hey, my name is Kimmy Gabbard. I'm a student, a DMP student, and I'm just seeking out clinical practicum hours. And I was going down the list of meetings that were available to the public. Am I okay to attend this meeting?
yes.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you for coming. And I have a guest here. It says guest, but I don't have any name. Can we have the guest identify themselves and their organization? Yeah, why don't we just keep going? Next, we would like to extend a welcome to our Hele Imua intern, Angela Chalk. Would you please introduce yourself to the members of the executive committee?
Yes, my name is Angela Chalk. I'm an intern for Hele Moa, and I've been interning with Bonette and Kelly and Evan, and I'm happy to be here, learning a lot. Thank you.
Are they doing a good job at training you?
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
Thank you. Okay, for the last 2 legislative sessions, our WDC has been trying to figure out a way for our organization to be relevant in the legislative process. This initiative was led by Special Project Chair Keith DeMello. Unfortunately,
Chair, I'm sorry, point of order, Chair. We are on page, or actually, we're going to be talking about the fiscal first. You've got
okay,
fiscal reports.
Hey, I skipped a page here.
Um,
Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Angela. The next item on the agenda is our physical reports. And I would like to ask our Executive Director, Vinette Mizalucha, to give us an update on the state of our finances. The page
okay,
numbers of the
yes.
presentation is on 9 to 20 in your packet.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not gonna pull it up, but I'd like you to please refer to your handout. I hope you have your packet in front of you. Trang, I know you're en route, so I'm going to just go over the high points. I want to make sure you have it open to the right. So this is on pages 9 and then 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we're going to primarily, first of all, take a look at the first page, which is page 10. And on page 10, are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, so you're on page 10. This is our grant summary as of 3/31/2025. There is a lag only because of processing. There's invoices that sometimes come later. Chair, just point of order. We are joined by one of our newest board members. Do you want to acknowledge his presence, Chair?
Okay.
Pane.
Oh, Pane, here we go. Pane Manitoba.
Okay. Would like to met. Oh, okay. Before I kill her name, Pane Mayatoga
Yeah.
is our new board member. Can you introduce yourself and give a little bit about where you're from?
Hi, everyone. Yes, sorry, I'm having difficulty with my camera right now, but my name is Tonga, Operating Engineers Local 3, Deputy Political Director. Happy to be here, part of the Workforce Development Council. Born and raised in Laie, went to Kuku High School, graduated from BYU. Worked in tourism for many years, and then work in government affairs now.
Okay, thank you. Do we have
Okay,
anyone else? Okay,
thank you. Oh, there's another guest if they would like to, but if
we have another guest that's showing guests. Would they introduce
there's
themselves
two
and where they're
guests.
from?
It's okay, Chair, we can proceed. So as I was sharing, if I can pick up the pieces from where we left off. So if folks who are might want to how do you call that, follow along, we have the packet for the executive committee that's found on the WDC website. If you look at the meeting and events under committees, there's executive committee, and there's a packet that you can peruse at your to follow along with the agenda. So again, let me go back that this is a grant summary as of 3/31/2025. And as I was mentioning, there's a little bit of a lag in terms of the reports because some of the invoices take a little longer to be processed. And so we want to make sure we have an accurate count. So on there's two views. So this one is a summary view. The particular reports that come after that, which says PY 2022, PY 2023, and PY 2024, those are details. So let's look at the summary first. So the first spreadsheet, or the first section, is by county. And what it is it shows the allocated amount. So which is the funds that were given to us by the Department of Labor for PY program year 2023 was 10,300,340. So far, out of that, the state has spent 6.317590. So if you go line by line, Honolulu has spent 57% of its allocation. Hawaii Island has has already spent 67%, so they're doing well. Maui is at 52%. Kauai is at 33%. And then the Rioa state level is at 91%. So again, by way of trying to educate everyone, if you take a 10.3 million, what happens is out of every the total allocation, 15% goes to the state for administrative and program purposes. The rest, 85%, gets allocated to each of the counties, and it's based on a formula wherein they take into account the population base as well as the economic opportunities. So if you take out the 15%, it comes out to 1.5 million. And that's why, and most of it is already being spent. And again, by way of background, so PY 2023, we received the funding in PY 2023, and it goes to the local boards for 2 years. Whatever the local boards do not spend, come back to the state, so that the state can spend that remaining funds for statewide purposes. Whatever the state does not spend goes back to the feds. And obviously that's a travesty, and we don't want that to happen. So PY 2023, we are approaching the end of the year or the period when the local boards would have used their funds. So as of PY 2023 started July 1, 2023. By June 30, 2025, they should have spent the whatever funds, and then it then reverts back to the state, and the state has until 2026, June 30, 2026, to spend those funds. So let's go over the results. So as I mentioned, 6.3 has been expended, and that includes encumbered funds. So there's about almost 4 million that is remaining. However, we have been doing coordination meetings on a monthly basis, and we are projecting and forecasting about more or less over $2 million that most likely will be not spent by the counties, and will need to be given back to the state. And just like last time, we had a protocol as to how those funds are allocated. In fact, during the latter part of this agenda, I'm going to be able to give you a status report of those unexpended funds for program year 2022. On the top, it says balance as of 6/30/2024. So actually, if you can erase that and actually say as of 3/31/2025 to correspond and be accurate with the grant summary report. So the next set of figures are how each of those funds were spent. So again, we're dealing with the same number. So if you take a look at the unexpended funds on the bottom, 3.9, it corresponds with the balance on that first set of numbers. Okay, so you're with me so far? But this one, as you take a look at how each of the categories were spent, so adult, youth, dislocated workers, okay? So on this, when you look at this, the youth budget has been primarily spent, but the rest are encumbered or in the process of being encumbered. The third set of numbers on page 10 demarcates what each of the island counties and how they have the allocations versus, and these are totals versus their expenditures. Are there questions on this particular page? Because this is the one that's loaded with all kinds of information. I'm happy to respond. Anything? Okay, let me go proceed then. So PY 2022, I'm not going to go over this is great historical data, and we usually try to present this just so that if you want to know more, you can dig deeper as to you know, what PY 2022 program year 2022 funds were. And then of course the PY 2023 is a reflection of the report that I just went over. And PY 2024 are the funds that is already with us, but mind you, the local areas have not spent as $0 on it. You know why? Because according to federal funds too, and according to our practice, you cannot spend funds until the prior funds has been exhausted. So that's why we have to finish PY 2023 funds for them to access PY 2024, which in a way is what really is one of the issues why they're left with so much funds, because these funds are expected to be spent in 2 years, but unfortunately it is has been a challenge for them, and they're only spending those funds in 1 year versus the 2 years. Any questions on the fiscal reports for WIOA? I'm just going to proceed, Chair, okay?
Yes.
Unless I hear yeah, okay. So let me then go over page 14, which is we need to, I want people's attention on this because I do need executive committee action on this. And the executive committee action will then be integral as we move towards the development of our agenda for the forthcoming June 19th board meeting. So let me provide an overview. So when we, in June, or maybe for the legislative session in 2024, the legislature provided and restored the program ID of Workforce Development Council. And as such, they also, and we became back to being an attached agency to DLIR. As a result, they also gave us oversight over the federal funds, which is the WIOA funds. They also gave us $455,000 in General Appropriations Fund, or GA funds as we call it. And then we had 7 positions. So for the fiscal year 2024, out of the 455,000, the governor, as a matter of course, asked all the agencies to, as a forced savings, to take out 20%. And so the total available for us to use was about 416,000. So these are our expenses as of May 31, totaling about almost 40,000. So out of that, we have a remainder of about 378,025. We need to spend this funds down, because if not, it will be lapse. And so we certainly don't want that. So it is after consulting with our chair, the chair would like to support a proposal to fully encumber the remaining funds, or 372,375, give or take. Again, we have some wiggle room, and we would like to propose the allocation to adult education. So on page 15 on your packet, you will see that there's some rationalization, including this is a shovel-ready program. We don't have to do any RFPs. We don't have to do any oversight, because they have been doing this, and they have been actually meaning to expand the program. In fact, in February of this past year, the Ways and Means Committee Chair, Senator Donovan de la Cruz gathered workforce development operatives and stakeholders in the room, asking them to look at their existing resources to see how this can be supported. In fact, at the last sector partnership meeting, Chair, if you recall, they also gave a presentation. So we're also mindful of the fact that there are some federal funds that are supposed to be allocated to adult education that are at risk. In the president's budget, they're one of those line items that they're eliminating. So some of those federal funds that are intended for adult education might not be there anymore. So we're mindful of that. And so that's why I think this comes in as at a very appropriate time to be able to support this initiative, this program. We have to encumber these funds by June 30th. And so what needs to happen is that there needs to be a memorandum of understanding or agreement or a contract, whatever you want to call a legal document, between Department of Education and Workforce Development Council, and in which we will be transferring and allocating, encumbering those funds for this purpose. And all of this needs to happen by June 30th. If you turn to page 17, there is a scope of deliverables. It's like a menu of all the various modules that are available. And I actually have Helen Sanpei, who is, I don't know what your title is, Helen, who is the chair of this program, who can then, if you have any questions, share some of her insights or respond to any details that you might have, or you might have questions on. Any questions?
Okay, Helen is the principal for McKinley Community School for Adults.
Thank you. Yes. Helen, do you want to turn on your camera? There's Helen. So any questions? If not, Chair, do you want to entertain a motion to support this proposal?
If I see, can I entertain a motion? Can I have a motion?
Oh, wait,
Sorry,
I think
we're-
there's some questions.
Sorry, real quick, I have a question. This proposal looks solid, but in light of the federal funding getting eliminated for Job Corps, has there been any consideration of allocating funds in that direction?
So thank you for that question, Council Member Sean Knox. So there was none. And again, because there might be, there's so many uncertainties with how to allocate that for Job Corps. Job Corps is essentially the term that they use is paused. So there is no structure, there is no infrastructure. So even if we're desiring to transfer to them, there's no infrastructure, it will be eliminated. So yeah, that particular possibility is not realistic.
Thank you. No
Tran,
further
go ahead.
questions.
Okay, I see Tran has a question. Tran? You're on mute. Tran, you're on.
Unmute, please.
Sorry. So the students then would just come from the community population who are already looking at attending the adult school. So I guess how will they know about these particular courses as an opportunity?
Helen, do you want to
Yes, I
respond to
can
that?
answer. We have been advertising through the newspaper and through TV, and also we regularly post our offerings to the public, and it's not only adults. We have some of the high schools that are also using the program, so it's being used more than just for students in adult ed. Another agency that uses the program is corrections, the
Oh yeah.
Department of Public Safety. So currently the Build Your Farm and Build Your Biz is ready to go for, but we just need the monies to pay for the curriculum.
Dion?
I had a question, actually kind of dovetailing off of Sean's question, because there were students out at Tongue Point, that basically they're all just being sent back.
Mm.
Is there a way to
Oh, yeah.
allocate funds to support individual like students?
So what's happening is there's two-pronged approach. There's a rapid response for the staff. In fact, our WDD folks were there for the rapid response and trying to see how they can help with the transition. But also, Oahu and Maui is where the Job Corps locations are. Those youth will be enrolled as our participants. So they're not going to be left in the lurch. But it's not going to be the state board who will be funding that. It will be the particular local board. So Maui Workforce Development Board is doing its best to absorb the youth participants from Job Corps. Similarly, the Oahu Workforce Development Board, for those that are in the Windward side Job Corps, they're also going to be absorbed into the program. And again, maybe this is not sure whether this is on your radar, but one of the things that is concerning is the housing, because the Job Corps has a housing component and our WIOA does not. So they're navigating that and working through whether there's other agencies that could pick up. But certainly, I just want to assure everyone, those kids are not going to be left in the lurch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions? Concerns? Hearing none, can I have a motion to accept the budget or accept it including adult ed?
This is the I so move to encumber the funds and allocate for adult ed. I think it was about the 372,700.
Yes. Do I have a second?
Sean Knox, a second, please.
Okay, do we have any discussions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Any noes, abstentions? Hearing none, motion passed. Okay. So let's see where we are here. And I think, Bennett, we're on number 4 now.
Yes, and I
Okay.
have to apologize to everybody. You're gonna hear a lot from me. We're going to actually try. I've talked to the staff and I said, next time we're going to, divide and conquer. But for now, as people are feeling comfortable or as people are getting more into the weeds, next time, hopefully it's not just me who's going to make these presentations. But for now, you're stuck with me, guys. I'm so sorry. But almost every item will have me, except for the fact that I think special projects will have its time. Okay, so let's take a look at the PY 2022 WIOA unexpended funds. In the prior section, I talked about how program years are 3 years. So we, as of June 30, 2025, those funds, the PY 2022 funds will lapse. So we need to spend it here at the state, because if not, it goes back to the feds. And I know the feds really don't want it. So hopefully this is not new information for the council members, but we have been, informing you folks about the status of these funds. So this is one, the next reiteration of how those funds are being spent. So page 2022 to, I think, the ensuing pages provides an overview of what each of the 6 projects there are and what the status is. I'm not going to go, too much about this, because again, this is information that we've been providing for many, many months. But we have 6 projects amounting to 1.5 million that was given to us by the DLIR director for us to manage. And out of those 6 projects, 3 are with University of Hawaii, but in various capacities. So one is a P20, but also again, P20 is part of UH. Then we have one with UH Community Colleges, and then the other one is with the UH Community or Workforce Development in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii. So suffice it to say, again, I think this would be something that you might peruse at your private time or later on. And but suffice it to say, each of these projects are on a good path. We have been meeting with each of them, at least with the agencies, at least let me address that for now. Each of those agencies are aware of the fact that June 30th services need to be rendered and that the funds have to be encumbered. So we're in a good path. In addition to the 3 agency contracts, we also have 3 contracts, and these were the ones that were RFP'd. And let me go over those. And that is, for instance, Project 1, which is on page 23. So this is with Axios Consulting, where they're doing a research on how to improve our workforce systems. And they came to Hawaii in May of this year and went and did all the visits. And I think they conducted about 40 interviews. And as a result of that, they're almost ready to come out with their findings. What we'd like to do is have a huddle with the local workforce development boards, with the executive directors, so they can present their findings, and then additional input could be provided so that the final product would be one that would include all the voices in the room, all the elements that need to be included. So they are on top of things and on track. Project 2 is a awareness campaign, and this is a very big campaign indeed. And this is to raise awareness about workforce development, American Job Center rather, and they provided us a preview of the research that was conducted, and actually we'll have an opportunity to showcase those, where they really demonstrated a need for an awareness campaign. That awareness campaign will likely happen during the summer. And just so you know, some of these campaigns would be into the fall, but it's okay because the funds are already encumbered. And even though the services may still bleed past June 30th, it's okay because at the end of the day, the funds have been encumbered. Okay, so the third item that I wanted to talk about is the fiscal training that's going to happen June 27 and 28. And that is for all fiscal officers, as well as EDs of the various boards and relevant stakeholders. We're trying to update everybody's information about the fiscal processes and the nuances, and hopefully we'll be able to also come up with some kind of a handbook that people will be able to refer to if they have questions or if ever there's any transitions. This also stems from the fact that we've had some changes at ASO, at the Administrative Services Office. We have a longtime employee there who retired. And so we want to make sure that the knowledge base is transferred and that it's consistent and standard. I think that's all I have, unless you have questions. That is the the highlights of the PY 2022 unexpended funds. Back to you, Chair.
Okay, anyone have questions? Hearing none, we'll go to the part that I started. For the last two sessions, our Workforce Development Council has been trying to figure out a way for our organization to be relevant in the legislative process. This initiative was led by Special Projects Chair Keith DeMello. Unfortunately, Chair DeMello is traveling on business and is unable to join us. Vice Chair Dion Dizon will provide the report. Written reports is on pages 35 to 38 in your packet. Dion?
Okay, so I actually received something that was via email in order for him to read. But in terms of a process assessment, the WDC's legislative process proved effective during the recent session. So he says when he says we, he means TUI and himself successfully tested response mechanisms and delivered testimony on limited legislation. So ensuring the WDC's positions reach lawmakers appropriately. So recommendations for future sessions, so WDC should take a more proactive approach by developing policy initiatives before the legislative session begins. This could involve identifying potential policy requests during the pre-session year, initial discussion and development potentially through the Special Projects Committee, formal approval by the full WDC in subsequent meetings in the fall, and entering each legislative session with a comprehensive, proactive policy strategy. This approach would position the WDC to shape legislation rather than solely respond to it, leveraging the Council's expertise in workforce development to advance policies that support economic development throughout Hawaii. And that would end his report.
Okay, thank you, Dion. Any questions for Dion? All right, hearing none, I think we're good, Dion. Okay, at this point in our agenda, we're taking up the certification of the Kauai American Job Center. Accordingly, the WIO mandates that the local board is charged with the certification of its American Job Centers. However, because Kauai does not have its own board, this responsibility rests with the Workforce Development Council as the state board to conduct certification. Note that this requirement, executive committee action. May I ask the executive director to give us full details, Jeanette?
Thank you, Chair. If you can refer to your packets, it's on page 40. Giving you a moment. Am I clear to go? To
Yes.
proceed? Okay. All right. So the staff and I, we went to visit the Kauai American Job Center on April 9th, 2025. And we had with us a list, a checklist, and that checklist can actually be found in a bulletin that is in our website as well, which provides the certification of Workforce American Job Center. And it's a very long list. It is a federally mandated list. It's very difficult to actually pass with flying colors. But when we interviewed the staff, we interviewed the stakeholders from Kauai, and as a result, here are our findings. I'm just going to say that there are many opportunities that exist to strengthen the service model. They are overcome with staffing limitations. So right now, Workforce Development Division staff are the ones staffing there, and to their credit, they really are very diligent about doing their work there. Unfortunately, though, they don't have the time nor the capacity to do outreach, and the results bear them out. So I think, as in my summary, I talked about deeper collaboration that's required, and the fact that there are things that we need to provide in terms of support. So here is the bottom line. So we gave them provisionally provisional certification or conditional certification. So, but there are criteria that we would like them to work on. And in a way, this also, because the state board is serving as the local board, in a way, this also, strengthens our desire to also support them and make sure that this happens. So we want to evaluating staffing needs because we would like to explore the option of finding an outreach position depending on the WIOA resources, enhance engagement with the Kauai Department of Economic Development, strengthening the process for capturing and utilizing customer feedback, expanding employees' professional development opportunities, reestablishing routine coordination meeting among core partners, which I understand happened prior to COVID, but after COVID has not happened since. We also would like to develop and implement written policies. They don't necessarily have written policies that addresses, for instance, the American Disabilities Act. So that needs to be remedied. So the only caveat that I have on page 43, Chair, I'd like to propose that we extend the corrective action plan due date from June 16, 2025 to September 30, 2025. That gives them 90 days instead of 60 days.
Okay. That would require.
So that's the certification. So according to the prescribed protocol, Chair, this committee has to endorse it so that it moves forward to the main council, and which will be then taken up at the board meeting on June 19.
Seeing no discussion, I move to endorse.
Do we have a second?
Mrs. Trong Malone, I second that motion.
Okay, do we have any questions or discussions? Hearing not, all the voting in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any noes, abstentions? Hearing none, motion passed. Okay, the motion is passed, Annette.
Yes, okay, so should I go into my ED report, Chair?
Okay, I have a question on that. Would it be able to maybe send, or a recommendation would be to send it to Semakini Community School for Adults?
Sorry.
So they can actually help run the AJC on Kauai, since they do have an office there.
So, well, that is a consideration, but in order for that to happen, there has to be so many steps because, yeah, so we can offline the discussion, Chair, because that has to be done through an RFP.
Okay.
It cannot just be, it cannot just be handed to them,
Okay.
So there is a process where the state board may have to go through that RFP to ask somebody else to run our AJC on Kauai.
Okay, thank you.
And of course, that agency has to prove that it has the necessary, capacity, as well as the knowledge and the depth of understanding about what is entailed.
Okay, thank you. Jessica. Okay, at this time, I would like to call back Bennett.
Okay, final now, if I promise. There'll be no more after this. You're tired of me already. I'm gonna change one of those voices so it'll be a different voice. Maybe a cartoon character. I don't know, I'm just teasing. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Evan, for running my slides. Okay, go ahead. So here are some of our highlights. I just wanted, first of all, to share with you that we are working very hard to recruit other members of the board in the council. If you have someone who you think might be a good candidate, but again, there are several caveats for that. They have to be in a position of hiring authority, is what if you look at the mandate. But we can offline that. But as far as the board, we have one vacancy in the labor side that we still need to fill. And on the private sector side, all of which are appointed, there are 4 vacancies, possibly 5. 4 existing vacancies, but then Eileen, what's her last name now? I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, so she moved to San Francisco. She's willing to stay on Caldwell, Eileen Caldwell. She's willing to stay on until we find someone else. But for quorum purposes, we do have enough for quorum, but we want to be able to have a full complement, obviously. So we have 4 on or 5 on the private sector side and 1 on the labor side. The labor side, AFL-CIO has already reached out to one other union, and I think they're in the process of applying at the boards and commissions, and hopefully that should be filled shortly. Any questions on the status of the board recruitment? Okay, go ahead. Yeah. So this is the Unified Plan implementation. We have a Synergy Summit on July 9th. I hope it's on your calendar because it's going to be a wonderful second stage when we had our first one in December. We're getting, as I mentioned, a grant from National Governors Association to provide technical assistance. We're in the process of formulating our state's North Star. And hopefully, go ahead and forward the slide, Evan. So this is the pillar catalyst teams that are harder work. There are 4 of them. So they've done pretty much the first part of the work that needs to be done. And they're on the second meeting, probably 3rd meeting before they're in a good path to be able to do a presentation on July 9th. So this is the timeline. We're hoping to have September Future of Work Conference. So after July, that's the next milestone. September being Future of Work Conference. It is the Workforce Development Month for the state of Hawaii. It's our 3rd year to have that proclamation. And then hopefully the unveiling of the North Star. Go ahead. So next item is the WDC transition into an attached agency. Actually, we're already transitioned, but this is more along the lines of the roles and responsibilities. So there is a subcommittee that's been hard at work for the last 10 months. And we are almost at the end of our process wherein we now have a clear understanding. We've been able to remove the ambiguities as far as roles and responsibilities are. And we're hoping that the full transition will happen by June 30th, but I think we're moving it up to like September, maybe even earlier. Go ahead. So here's our focus in 2025. I just want to have you put your attention to 2nd and 3rd quarter. And I think most of these I've already talked about. And for the 3rd quarter, hopefully we're going to do a board retreat And we're going to do more of the board governance and reorganizing our committees to make sure that they're effective and efficient. So here's our upcoming events. We have a new board orientation tomorrow, Synergy Summit on July 9th, and of course, the Future of Work Conference, which is September 24. Also wanted to share with you that WDC has been invited to offer opening remarks for Hawaii on the Hill. I think that's it, Chair.
Thank you, Bennett. If we have no questions, we're going to skip item 8. Please note that we defer it. Our chair, Ken Louie, would like to be present at this discussion. So we're deferring it until our next executive committee meeting. At this time, the public is welcome to make any announce upcoming events and comment on relevant issues that are not included in this meeting's agenda. Please be advised that in compliance with Sunshine Law, the committee cannot discuss or act on issues that was not included in the meeting's agenda, but issues raised during this period may be included in future agendas for committee discussions. Comments will be limited to 2 minutes to each speaker. Do we have any comments or announcements? Okay, hearing none. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, July 23rd at 1:30 to 3 o'clock. The meeting will be held on Zoom and at room 317 in DLIR. So I guess we can finish early. Thank you for all your participation, executive committee members. There will be no further business. The meeting is adjourned at, what time is it now? 2:22. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, council members. Appreciate that, your commitment.
Hey, thank you.